thanks for this offer and opportunity. The idea was big, the idea was grand. Malaga is the mix of different centuries and generations, right? It's like very foolish to consider like your competitors as your enemies.
How do you feel when people copy some of the stuff that we do? Hello and welcome to the third episode of Beyond iGaming. Is this how you do it? I've stolen Levon's spot today because we're in Malaga and it was only right to have this episode dedicated to you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's indeed unusual for me as well to be on the other side of Beyond iGaming and to be interviewed as a guest, but thanks for this offer and opportunity. So yeah, let's do it.
Why did you decide this spot for the tour today?
Well, this spot is a very comfortable place to start a tour from because then it's easier to take a route through all the important spots in the city, the ancient ruins, cathedral, and like all the beautiful places that you gotta see, not to return in the same spot at the end. So that's why the choice was Plaza de la Merced. That's how this place is called. It's also known as Picasso's Plaza because you can find his statue here, a bronze statue, I believe somewhere there in the corner. But yeah, I think this is a comfortable place to start and move along down the old town, see the nice places, the locations, whatever is important about Malaga, maybe different centuries of the history and the heritage that this city comprises overall. And now we'll be able to see Picasso's statue, right? It's right there. Maybe you can't see it right now, but believe me, it's there. And I think we won't have a chance to take a photo with it today. So yeah, this is a famous spot here, and that's why you can see so many tourists even on Sunday morning.
Why did you decide to move to Malaga?
Moving to Malaga was not just like we wanted to move to this city, but in general we wanted to move to Spain with my wife. Malaga was one of the options because we're looking at different cities, we're looking at different areas of Spain, from Catalonia to Galicia, Basque Country, and in the end we ended up in Andalusia, which is the south of Spain, and which was, I think, the most charming out of all the cities. There is not a specific reason, but we kind of like this city the most. And so far, our decision has not been changed, you know.
What were some of the things that attracted you to Malaga?
I think the most important part, not only of Malaga, but of Spain, is the weather, obviously. After Armenia, when you are making a move, you want the weather to be nice, right? And overall, the weather is very mild, very comfortable throughout the year. And specifically in Malaga, the summer lasts longer, you have more sunny days, and it's not getting super hot either. I mean, that was one of the components, but overall, Malaga has a lot to offer. Malaga is very comfortable for, easy lifestyle, not overcrowded, not a big city, but very similar in the same time to Yerevan, to Armenia, where we are from, in the sense that, it's a small community, everyone knows each other, and you don't have so many, dynamic in the city going.
Was choosing the spot for the iGaming Club conference after you decided to move to Malaga, or was it before that?
Yeah, I wouldn't lie, it was. And I think it had a little bit to do with me being personally present here, but overall, it was based on, different factors, different surveys that we took through our network, through our friends, our ambassadors. So we needed a spot which would be able to become our flagship events destination, our flagship events location, which we won't change for a while. And yeah, when we made the decision, Malaga was like the best option at the time. Right now, we'll see if how long we're gonna stay here, or whether we need to change at all or not. But for the time being, Malaga is distinctly the place where our delegates and our friends want to return from after the first event that we had in 2024.
Most of our company, I mean 99% is based in Armenia. Wasn't the decision hard to leave the company and then, kind of move to another country in terms of managing the whole team?
Actually, it's not 99%. You are wrong here. I'll tell you that it's about 74.
Okay.
Because we have people from
Math.
Europe and also even from America, US. But yeah, I mean, being a bit far from our headquarters, which is obviously Yerevan, was not an easy decision. But at the same time, I was like sure and comfortable that it's not going to be an issue, because even in Yerevan, the team is working and operating remotely. So there is no need of actual presence there, other than the team buildings, the gatherings, which we do every month or a couple of times during the month. I mean, that part I really miss. That part I really, would like to interact more with the team. But overall, I think the team itself is also very, self-sustained. There is no need of me to be like physically present there. In order to make it, make it work. So it works this way. It was not easy, but it works. And I think now we don't have any issues with that anymore.
I know that you also love reading a lot of books. What's been one of the books that has kind of changed your life or the way you think? I'm sure there are a couple.
Yeah.
But one that comes to your mind now.
One of the books that was really, that you really self-reflect afterwards is The Fall by Albert Camus. He is a legendary writer, and I think this is like the most astonishing piece of work that he has done. And I think it's a very deep book, and you can find a lot of reflection of yourself in this book, and I would recommend anyone to read it if they haven't yet. And also you.
When we hire someone, we always ask their favorite 3 books. Why did you decide to come up with this?
It's something I have not seen other recruiters doing. I find it very informative when you ask someone, about what they prefer to read or listen to, or maybe they don't prefer to read at all. Everything is an indication. So based on these 3 books, or even if they don't send any, you get a lot of information about a person. Because when you get the list of 3 nonfiction books, or you get the list of 3 philosophical books, or maybe like a mix of those, or maybe a sci-fi, then you somehow grasp the idea of what kind of person he or she is, And I think then further on, when you start interviewing them, you are getting more information, and it's easier for you to ask very relevant questions. It's easier for you to open them up, and maybe even to check if what they got from the books that they read, or it was like, some list from ChatGPT or something. Are they really into it, or they are not? I mean, this just gives you more tools, more triggers to play with in order to understand if the candidate is the right fit. And also it's good to know who you are hiring and who these people are, because afterwards when you work together, I mean, you already know them, in some sense. You already know them that, like one of them is a fan of sci-fi or anti-utopia or whatever, and you already have a ground, of discussion and a friendship with them.
We recently celebrated Papa's 5th birthday. You were not there, but we're also going to celebrate it tomorrow with the whole community in Malaga. When Papa started, was it something that you were thinking it was going to be now that we have it, or
yes,
or did you have other ideas?
I didn't know what it's gonna be and when we're gonna achieve what we have achieved so far. But yeah, definitely the idea was big. The idea was grand, and the goal was, to get to that point, to create a great network of great people from the industry, which can interact, who can, be around and create some value for one another. I didn't see how it's gonna, how we're gonna get there, how it's gonna end up, but I definitely saw that it's going to be a big thing. And the goal for us was to get there. How we gonna do that? It was matter of techniques. It was matter of strategic planning. Since we were talking about Malaga being so old, ancient city, one of the oldest, I believe, in Spain and also in Europe. Now we are in front of the old Roman ruins. And what's very spectacular about Malaga is that you can see Roman ruins right below, down the Alcazaba, which was built by Arab Empire back in the days when they were reigning in this area. And Malaga is the mix of different centuries and generations, right? The Roman theater that we see now were built about 2,000 years ago. Alcazaba was built about 8 to 900 years ago. And you see these layers of different centuries just right next to each other. Like they fit so organically that this makes Malaga very special in that sense. You don't normally see different cultures remaining in the same area after different reigns, after different kingdoms passing over, and etc. And it's very interesting that like with Roman Empire, with then Spanish Empire afterwards, Malaga has started from Phoenician times. It was like the first, the city was founded by Phoenicians. And the name originally was Malacca, which meant and had some relationship to the salt and salty fish, which we see now in the city as well these days. You can go down to Chiringuitos at the beach side. You can walk, around all the tapas bars. They have this salty fish for 2,700 years. Nothing has changed, like in the sense of the culture and the vibe of the city. And I think Malaga is very special in this sense. You can see the mix of different centuries, and now when we walk down through the cathedral, you'll also see, that's one of the most iconic places which we also use in our materials and marketing campaigns, right?
Yes.
But it is probably one of the newest buildings in this city.
Are you always interested about different information of the city you visit or the city you live?
Not only even I visit and I leave, but also like I try to research different ones and find interesting spots to go to visit, to see, to explore. I think this comes from the fact that we are Armenians, because we want to find similarities with our country, with our nation. We are also old, but the downside of us is that we don't have these old buildings, these old structures that used to be, in our history.
We've been walking and I've been seeing a lot of people running here today. Even it's Sunday morning, but people are out. Is this a habit that you've also taken?
I think I have been running for the last 5 to 6 years, like making running a constant part of my life and work-life balance. But in Spain, in order to burn all the calories which you are getting from tapas, beers and wines, you gotta run every day. And I think that's what people are doing here. Also, it's part of a healthy lifestyle, which is really nice. I think it's the city itself that, makes you want to run, makes you want to take the active lifestyle because of, the sea nearby, the nice weather.
What's one decision that you made early on during the foundation of AFPAPA that you think led the way it has been shaped?
That's a tough one, because there were many decisions like that shifted the way AFPAPA developed, or not only AFPAPA, but the company in general, with iGaming Club or our other brands. And I mean, the most important thing that it was not a decision, but it's a very strategic thing that we initially adopted, and we tried. I mean, we not tried, but we stick to it, and we'll be sticking to it like further on. Is that we don't compete with the companies that we work with or we serve for. We don't compete with operators, we don't do operations. We don't compete with affiliates, we don't generate traffic the same way they generate traffic. Yeah, even though it's not a decision, but this strategic thing helps us to gain trust and to have loyal delegates, friends, partners from the industry, because we are being loyal to them, and the same way we receive the same loyalty from our friends and partners in the industry.
What did Papa bring to the industry?
I think I'm not the one who should answer this. It's better to ask
The industry.
the delegates, our friends who we work with, our partners, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think it's the biggest value that Papa has brought is the freedom, and the freedom of connecting, being direct to each other without any middleman, like the entire possibility to do business one-to-one without any middleman. That was like the initial goal, and when we started doing that, there was no other company connecting the two sides, specifically affiliates and operators.
That's
right?
why a lot of people confuse us with affiliate
Yeah,
networks.
exactly, and that was the hard part of pushing the message. But now we expanded in the way that not only affiliates and operators, but we also have content providers, we have B2Bs, different type of businesses that we keep connecting now through our events, which is like, an extension to what we have been doing online.
Yes. Being in the industry for a couple of years now, what's one thing that's still missing in the iGaming industry, you think?
I think the one thing is the real trust to each other, because trust in every sense. It's very rare that you see a real partnership between companies, and it becomes more and more rare, and it becomes, the problem with the industry is that there are many swindlers, and also there are many companies that are not marked as swindlers or scammers, but they operate in a not very fair way when partnering with each other, right? Some companies shave money from each, like speaking of affiliates, like that's the basic thing that we see happening all the time is operators shaving money from affiliates, especially the new ones who pop in the industry, like for a very short period, without any background, without any story behind them. They just appear in the industry and they start, very quick operations, big promises, and then they disappear within a couple of months. The same goes for affiliates that pop by. They might request some fixed fees, some settlement fees, and then later on again they would deliver zero traffic, they will disappear, and we see this happening a lot. And I think here we have a lot to do and to offer to our industry. With the events, with bringing people together, we make these people disappear. We make these swindlers impossible to, break through the wall of this connection, of this network that people have already created. And not only by us, but with the help of each other, because the network is the combination and it's the entire picture of what every single person in that network has contributed to that network. And I think, so far we try to combat the thing that is missing, in the industry.
Okay.
Actually, now we are standing next to the most famous cathedral of Malaga, which was built in, if I'm not, I might be mistaken because I don't remember numbers correctly, but in 17 something. It still has one of its domes under construction, And that's why in the pictures you can see just one of the domes, but that's not the original structure of this building. And that's also, you know, it adds up to the specularity of Malaga, where you can see these different centuries, and this is probably one of the most iconic and most fresh building that you can see in the city. And when you walk from amphitheater to this side and then you go up the Alcazaba, you at some point you forget that you are walking through these different centuries, that there is huge heritage from different kingdoms and empires in this small city on Costa del Sol.
AFPAP has been growing a lot in the recent years, and obviously a lot of competitors have come into play as well. How do you feel when people copy some of the stuff that we do?
You know, there are different things when it comes to copying. First is like the idea of AFPAPA as a platform. In the first place, it was a directory, and that's how we started. And in the very early stages, no one even tried to do the same thing because people thought that it's more lucrative to do networks, to be the middleman, to get the fees, to get the commissions from the deals, right? And I think whoever was, you know, in the space, they would go for the traditional networking, traditional network option. So when we started this directory, after a couple of years, a couple of companies, even the big giants of the industry, they also tried to create similar directory in order to engage more with affiliates, with operators, which, I mean, I'm not very critical about that. I'm not very, you know, nervous when this happens, because whenever you start something unique, you gotta remember and you gotta keep in your mind that sooner or later there is gonna be copies of that. There is gonna be options. There is gonna be someone else, you know, trying to do the same thing. It's very foolish to start a business assuming that you are the first, you're gonna be the best, and just by being first, it gives you sort of a big privilege. It definitely does in the beginning because you don't have competitors on the path, but you gotta keep in mind that someone can become, you know, or someone can step in much stronger, much more powerful, and it will be really hard to combat them. So what you gotta do, you have to be creative, you have to come up with newer tools, newer offers, newer entertainment, because if you don't do this, then you are stagnating. And when you are stagnating, when you have stopped at the place that you are in, that it means you already lose, because someone there is preparing, you know, something for the industry which you can't deliver, which you don't have, and which you will lose to. When I see some companies copying what we do or copying the marketing strategies that we do, we started these reels very aggressively in the market. We brought it to LinkedIn, which everyone was not, you know, so happy about. But then suddenly everyone is doing it. I'm not saying we are the first to do it, but we definitely like put so much of that into our usual social medias, which was not there before. We came up with some ideas during our events, the speed dating sessions and stuff, and we see it happening through other industry events. And it would be foolish to consider that nobody would try to do the same, right? And that's the point. I mean, you have to be ready that whatever you do, whenever it is exposed to public, it's gonna be copied, it's gonna be maybe even improved. And if you do something, you have to be prepared for that. And this gives you a definite strategy that you have to stick to, which is every time you gotta improve what you do. Every time you have to come up with better options, better versions, better performance, with better structuring and organization. The same goes, for example, with the speed dating. Our first speed dating was like a thing that was an idea and it became reality. It worked somehow, some people were happy. And later on we saw this repeating at other events. So on our next event, we came up with a better option where speed dating was more intensive, was more dynamic. People were able to connect with more delegates than before. This year we come up with a totally different structure. It's gonna be again more dynamic, easier to find the right place to stand at. So you definitely will know that you are meeting the right person, not just a random one. By this I mean that for every event we gotta come up with a better and improved options of what we had before, even though we were the first to do it, or maybe we were not, but we did it
More
that.
intensively?
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing is that you gotta improve, because if you don't improve and you just complain that, oh, we did it and like competitors saw it, they just copied us. I mean, that's your own problem, and there is no one else to blame but you for that.
Definitely. What about relationships with competitors? You know, do you think competitors in general should be kind of more aware of each other and, you know, talk to each other also regarding industry dynamics in general, or are you more against it and, you know, you stay in one lane, the other stays in the other lane?
No, I don't think that if there is a competition, there should be a rivalry. There should be animosity against each other, not at all. And we definitely see in the industry this shift, not only talking about us, but I mean the B2B providers, the aggregators, content providers. You see them hanging out together, which is great, which gives, you know, this uniqueness of our industry. I mean, it adds up a lot of spice when you see that two competing, you know, owners or CEOs of the companies just hang out together, post pictures, and, you know, they don't mind because I mean, we are not living in a, you know, stone age where you are afraid that someone is gonna take your food from you. They are happy. I mean, everyone has their chunk in the industry. Everyone has their audience, their market. So there is there is no need to worry about someone stealing your revenue, someone stealing your food, and specifically being, you know, and just
like
being very aggressive to you, or very toxic or negative. Actually, that's mindset that I really adore about some people, and I also try to stick to that myself. Sometimes it's hard because, you know, some things might annoy you of what your competitors do, but most of the time I think I'm really overcoming it, and I'm really looking at people like the people. So I see, you know, human being in them who are trying to improve, and one of the ways is maybe to look at us, to maybe copy some things that we do, or maybe to come up with some better ideas, and then we look at them and we think, oh, maybe we should do the same, or maybe it's right to look into what they are doing and adopt it to our operations too. Who knows? I mean, the industry is very dynamic, and it's like very foolish, you know, to consider like your competitors as your enemies, because especially in the industry, it changes a lot. Like one day they can be your competitors, maybe after several years their operations can change so much that you will even see a option or way to, you know, have a synergy together and maybe work together or merge together for a bigger picture and bigger purpose.
Yeah, and I also think a lot of the times when you're starting a new product that is not very clear to the audience, let's say, like let's say the iGaming directory, where people thought it's an affiliate network or an event concept, a lot of the times the competitors help with that. Because if they start doing similar stuff, they actually introduce it to their audience knows the product already, and it's just a lot easier.
When competitors start doing the directory, which is similar to what AFPAPA is, and people, like some of the audience definitely already knows, right, about AFPAPA.
Yeah.
So the only way to relate, the first thing that comes to mind is like, it's like AFPAPA, right? It's like the place where you log in and you just chat directly with each other. And it's also here sort of a promotion, and then it becomes extremely harder for them to push their product, because they gotta bring something very different from what AFPAPA already has in order to, you know, gain attraction and attract these affiliates and operators to their networks. In the idea of network, I mean this combination of affiliates, operators, B2Bs, like the network of different groups of companies. And yeah, in some way, it's also a promotion.
A lot of the creative stuff that goes on AFBAPA and iGaming, behind it is also a lot of the times you. Where does that come from? Are you also interested in like funny skits and videos? Like one of the Eurovision videos you did recently that also went viral.
Yeah, I mean, I am also, I wouldn't lie, I also sometimes watch these reels and get some inspiration from those. What do you really need for marketing? You need emotions, you need to trigger people somehow. And what's the best way of doing that? I guess, I believe, and I'm sure it is the answer, that people need emotions, they need laughter, they need this sense of unpredictable ending or unpredictable scenario when watching something, right? And when you come up with these reels, or not only reels, but some, maybe it could be a funny sketch or maybe some serious idea packed in a real format, or this short, mini videos format. I believe that's the way to make marketing working, because traditional marketing has changed a lot. It's really hard to push something, to push a brand, an event, doesn't matter what, through the regular traditional ways, just by posting, just by promoting through different channels, social medias,
boosting ads, etc.
boosting ads, buying some traffic from different, like specifically today that we have like Reddit and all different kind of social medias getting active, like TikTok and stuff like that. You gotta be present there with the trends, with the creatives that are actual as of today. So that's why I believe creativity in marketing is the major part. And in order for the company to function that way, in order for the company to stick to this strategy and agenda, it has to come maybe from the very top of the company, in this case from myself, in order not to only stick to the strategy, but also to encourage the team to think that way. And I believe this also helps us a lot, because we see our colleagues, our team members, our employees sticking to this as well, like without even asking them to do so. They might record some reels, they might share something which can be a bit risky to share on LinkedIn, but they know that it's approved by us. We don't see a problem there. Even if they post something which can create a buzz or a negative effect, I mean, we still can give it a try and learn from the mistakes and improve next time. Be careful with the content that we are sharing. But if you don't experiment, if you don't, try this different ways of sharing information or announcing things, you will never know which channel works and which channel doesn't.
Definitely.
The same way, I mean, when announcing an event now, or announcing an important, update from us, recently we stopped doing that by traditional ways, by sharing a banner, by just announcing it with a single post or with PR or stuff like that. We announce those things through these creatives as well, because they have more reach. Like whatever you do, whatever you say, you can reach more attention with these reels. And when you are to announce something important, something strategic, a new location for our events or whatever, it's the best to announce through these creatives, because otherwise you can't reach the attraction that you can reach with this creative format.
For sure. And you also have to understand that, I mean, your users are people, and they get bored of certain stuff. And every single couple of months, every year, let's say, there is a new trend, like videos this year. It's been booming recently, because people's attention is very short right now. They're scrolling through TikTok, they're scrolling through Instagram, and you have to capture them very quick with, whether it's video or a meme or whatever it could be.
True. Yes, and even with the videos, the amount of content that we are creating right now is huge, and we can, we can surely say that about 60-70% of our videos are not picking up the way that the rest do. But
Yeah.
when you experiment, when you try these different formats, because even if you start doing the videos, and everyone are doing the videos right now the competition is to make your videos attractive.
Exactly.
It's not only just to record and post it, but it should have a catch, it should have a short scenario, because even like the 10-second video is a very short movie or very short scene about something where you have a hero, where you have a scenario, you have a narrative, right? And if you don't look at it that way, you will just have random videos with no value and no result that otherwise you would get if you really prepared for it.
For sure. And I think here also comes in to help our community that we've built, because the content that we push is good, but I feel like we also have a community built that's always just there to support us. Because there's so many companies, a lot of the time, sometimes people come and ask me like, how did you do the videos that went viral? When you push like a video up, you get 10 likes immediately or 15 likes, and then, it starts growing from there on. So I think the community that we've built is so important, because it helps us through everything that we do, whether it's marketing, events, directory, etc.
And the community wouldn't have built around that if whatever we did was not, the purpose of what we did was not to bring more value to the community itself. I think that's the key, because if we did this just for making money, we wouldn't have achieved or reached the goals, or reached even to the point where we can do a standalone conference, and better about our financials, how much we invest in this, and we still keep investing. But this is the key of how we have created this community around us, around our brand. And if we stick to this plan, we don't shift from what we do, I think we'll really achieve the big goals that we have of creating this platform, of creating this network of good and decent brands of our industry, working together, gathering together at different locations in different zones, because we all gain from this. They all gain from this. We gain from this as a company. And I think the biggest component here is creating a value for everyone in the community.
What's one misconception you think people have about iGaming Club?
I don't know what's the one misconception, but I believe there are plenty. One of the things that maybe it's a perception, or it's I don't know, they just don't really understand the structure of Papa, is that whenever we do events, people will write me at the very last minute, hey, send us a ticket or something, not really realizing that it's not a one-man show. It's not a, I'm not someone who is deciding everything in the company, and that we have structures, we have ways of dealing with things, and we don't have any shortcuts in our company. And if we have if we have some rules, if we have some strategies that we stick to, we try them, we try to keep them working all the time. So there's no shortcuts. If you want to be like present at our event, or you want to be a speaker, you gotta speak to the right person in our team. If you want to attend or get a free ticket, you gotta speak to another person from the team. So I mean, sometimes it can be the misconception that, people might think we are a small team of 3-4 people, which we definitely used to be at some point. But right now, I think the company is more mature, and this helps us to deal with bigger projects at this stage of our evolution.
How would you say the iGaming industry has evolved, but specifically in terms of like affiliates and operators? Do you think the quality of the companies and what they bring to the table has grown, or the opposite?
Yes, definitely. We have plenty of companies, great companies in the industry, not only operating greatly, but also bringing something, very valuable to the industry.
Yeah.
And throughout the years, there were always affiliates and operators. There were always networking events, big conferences, which are still there right now, right? Which we go to, we also attend. Sometimes we exhibit, and this concept of cooperating didn't change. What's changed now is the dynamics of affiliates, where you see more and more new companies entering the industry. The same goes for operators, because we definitely see many new operators coming. But the issue which didn't change and which didn't evolve a lot is that still big chunk of the players, big chunk of the companies that enter the market, they live in a very early stage because of miscalculations, because of mismanagement, because of not understanding the industry as it is. And sometimes, you see companies just copying the same products of each others. They just go and take another white label solution from a B2B company that they have seen working for another brand, and they just try to do business like that, and it doesn't work. So yeah, I think some things have changed in the industry, but we still have companies and operators and affiliates making the same mistakes.
What makes Malaga a good spot for the conference?
One of the most important components is that Malaga is in Costa del Sol, near Gibraltar, where we have many iGaming residents, many people from our industry who have picked this spot, to live in, or the vicinity of Malaga, in Marbella, Estepona, Cadiz, also Gib itself. And that's like one of the key things why we picked exactly Malaga. Flight-wise, connection-wise, it's easier to get here. It's the third most connected airport after Madrid and Barcelona, which means you have many direct flights from across the Europe, and many other components. Not only that, but time frame, the season that we're looking at, because in May it's hard to find many locations where you will have this nice weather.
What if it wasn't May? Why did you decide this time slot? Was it because there were other iGaming events and we didn't want to?
I think because the first event we did as a conference was during this season. Exactly. It was during April, May, and since this is an annual kind of a thing, we just kept it within the same time frame, within the same dates, and we never thought of even changing the day. So for Malaga, I think we'll always keep it as we agreed during May or maybe early June. But the season is definitely spring. So that's the plan.
We have iGaming Club Conference Malaga Volume 2 in around 2 days. How do you usually feel before an event, especially before a conference?
To be honest, this time I'm feeling more relaxed than last year. I think because it's also of the experience that we had, the proof of concept that we experienced. And this year, surprisingly for me, it was very, I took it very easy. And I think it's also because of the team that is more experienced. We got more colleagues responsible for certain things now that are taken care of, and we don't need to be very worried about certain things going wrong. Probably we'll still have some hiccups, but most of the things we'll try to solve. And still, being super excited, a little bit of nervousness, but overall, I'm feeling much better than last year. Actually, now we are standing in front of Fundada 1814 Malaga. This is supposed to be one of the oldest bodegas here, wineries, where we can taste and sip some of their very strong and heavy wines from Pedro Jimenez and some other locations. So let's go inside and check it out. So this time it's me touring you in a local place. Perdón, ¿qué es blanco? No muy duro.
De Málaga tenemos seco de mar.
Puedo will you drink? Puedo dos secos y dos Pedro Jiménez.
Dos Pedro y dos secos.
How have you learned?
Sadly for me, I haven't learned it as good as I would like to because of remote working, because of still speaking in English majority of my time, most of my time, and yeah, this remote job doesn't let me interfere with local people, local community as much as I would like to. But yeah, I'm trying to interact more, and as I told you, I started playing paddle with some of my local friends,
Yeah.
and I think my Spanish is gonna be perfect in like around 10 years from now. And actually, this wine, like the wine culture, we learned here what they offer, what they usually drink. This is not the regular wine you are used to. It's quite heavy in alcohol. So let's try it out.
Which one are we starting?
Let's start with the white ones. Cheers.
Cheers.
How is it?
It's not strong. I feel like for Armenians, no alcohol is strong.
Yeah, actually after our strong wine, Spanish wine is much lighter, but specifically here, I think it's over 12 or 14 degrees. This one is very light though.
It is very
Muchas
light.
gracias, gracias a ti. So we are leaving some tips as well to look cool in front of the camera. Es para tú. Gracias. Sí, sí, es para tú. See me? This is for the tips. Actually, this is one of the lightest, which is very similar to regular wine that you
Yeah.
drink, but you felt that it's very acidic and it's sour, right?
But I like that.
Yeah.
It tastes like an alcohol.
Just to try this as a liqueur, it's really nice, but with food, like I really can't drink this when eating food because it's very heavy, it's strong, and it
Yeah.
has its own taste, which you have to try to feel this taste itself, enjoy the drink as it is without pairing with anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people do that, and it's totally fine.
Is this stronger?
I believe so. It should be stronger, and it has a bit more dense taste of the wood and
Okay.
the smoke smell.
Where do you take people when they come to Malaga usually? Here?
One of the places, yeah, I want them to feel really local vibes, try local things. This is one of the places. Even though you can't hang out here for too long, but like for 10, 15 minutes, we go in here, we try some drinks, and then later on we go to some nice local restaurants. Very, very atmospheric, very traditional, not super expensive, but really tasty. And we have went to some
Yes.
together, obviously. Nice.
We've solved a lot of different issues from last time, from the iGaming Club conference. I want to know if there is anything that you have done that you knew that was going to be a fail, but you were like, okay, let's still do it.
I think yes. I think some of those were intentional. And in terms of fails, we can understand different things, like fail financial wise, that we didn't make money. We knew it was not lucrative, but we still did it. Fail in the sense that we wanted something to be, perceived by the industry in a certain way, and we just did that for the purpose, or just because of being stubborn and because of just wanting to do what we initially stick to and what we initially aimed for, and we didn't want to be shifted from this goal. I think we had plenty of those scenarios. We have plenty of such experience in our portfolio. And I would say that so far I've never regretted for anything that we have done, whether it was a fail, whether it was a big success, because we have learned a lot from every single fail that we did, starting from the very first event, the iGaming Club networking drinks from Amsterdam 2022.
Why get into a market that's already saturated with a lot of iGaming events? I mean, why did you decide even to start an event when there are so many events happening, throughout the year?
That's a very fair question, actually. We have asked this question ourselves many times.
I feel like a lot of the industry has asked that question too.
Yeah, and they constantly ask us, and we constantly ask ourselves, why do we do this? Why are we in this industry? We know why are we in this industry, but why are we doing things that are already in the market, right? But iGaming Club was not an idea or an ego or something that we just wanted to do. We had the plan of doing events, and we just, with any kind of a cost, with the tremendous work, we were ready just to dive into it. Doesn't matter what it will cost us. So we didn't start iGaming Club out of the necessity of having events, but we started iGaming Club out of the fact that we had to supply the demand of our network, of our delegates, of our partners in the industry. And when we connect them throughout the year, every single day, every single moment through the directory, the only logical extension of what we have been doing so far is obviously moving this into offline.
Yeah.
The first step was doing a networking event, networking drinks for the community that is connecting with each other online for a while, right? And from that point on, the ball started rolling. It was like one networking event, then another, then we did the AFPAPA Awards, companies within the network voting for each other. Then we thought, wow, maybe we could already create some sort of a conference with speed dating and stuff like that and bring people even closer. And that's how we ended up having a full conference concept without even thinking about it in the initial stages. Because as I said, our goal was to keep doing what we were doing and extending the services and extending, every purpose that serves this goal of bringing affiliates and operators together within the industry. And the end point of that, and probably this is not the end point, we're still somewhere in the middle. One of the islands that we had to land on was doing these events.
Yeah.
And that's how we ended up having a conference after so many events. And I think we made the right decision, because if as you said, there are many events in the industry, and if we were too much, if we were not at the right time, at the right place, we wouldn't have the demand from the industry to keep this event and to do it for another year and to expand it and to work on making it even better. The attendance and the interest and attraction for this event is the answer to the question. If we hadn't that, we would probably skip doing it, and we would just stick to maybe networking events, or even maybe cancel that activity, that part of our business. But so far the demand is there, it keeps growing, and I think we're on the right track.
I think I'll be speaking from a lot of people's points when I say, how do you imagine attendees to travel so much throughout the year and go from one event to the other, Because I feel like now the events are so saturated that even within a month there is like 3 events happening. And, all 3 events are very, very well organized and very good and relevant to a lot of people. So how do you choose which one to go?
For us, it's easy. And I think for our delegates, it's also easy. We have specific vertical that we are targeting. The vertical is iGaming affiliates. If you have to choose from 3 events throughout the month, you choose the one that fits the best to your interest,
Yeah.
to your targeted audience, where you will meet the most of your partners, most of your potential partners. And for us, it's definitely the events that are targeting iGaming affiliates. And that's the value that we are trying to create with iGaming Club. We try to bring the companies that are in this niche of iGaming, in the niche of affiliates, that are dealing with affiliate-specific businesses.
How do you ensure that the relevant people come to the conference? How do you ensure that, if we're focusing on iGaming affiliates, how do you make sure that their majority of them are not payment providers, let's say?
We are doing this vetting, as you mentioned, which is not easy because throughout the vetting you have to refuse some of the companies when we try to stick to this 80-20 concept,
Yeah.
which is 80% affiliates operators and 20% the B2Bs. This year specifically, you know already, it has been extremely hard.
Yeah.
Because we had too many B2Bs interested in our event, and we had to refuse some of them to get stands, to invest into the exhibition, which was a tough decision for us financial wise, because we also need to make money to keep the ball rolling and to expand the event further on. But if we just yielded to these positions and we accepted too many B2Bs to our events, then we would have become a regular event of the industry, generic event, not concentrated or not targeting any specific niche. And that's where we would lose a lot.
Yeah.
And that's, as an answer to your question, that would be probably the point where we would have lost to the big players, because we would have started doing exactly the same what they do already in the industry without bringing any additional value into this industry, without being more specific, without being more concentrated on specific vertical of our industry.
The next destination for iGaming Club, major event-wise, is going to be Cancun. How do you step into a completely new market? Because the events that we've done so far are all in Europe. It's super easy to access for a lot of people. What about the Mexico one?
I don't know. We'll see.
Is this one of the things that you say it might be a fail, but we don't know?
Yeah, it might be a financial fail, but event-wise, I don't think it's gonna fail at all, because we choose the area based on the interest of our delegates. And we already know that we have a decent amount of delegates ready to travel to Mexico for this event. How it's gonna end up as a conference or not a conference, we'll see. And that's exactly what I said. I don't know. We will see it in next November if it works out.
This November.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're here near the NH right now. We're starting the event tomorrow with the Afpapa birthday. Everyone's been arriving, the delegation. What are your expectations from this one?
I think, it's gonna be a bigger experience for us as for the organizers, with all the stress, with all the preparations we went through. I hope that we really have done the job the way that we have expected. We are really prepared for what we have been waiting. I think that we will be able to fulfill the expectations of our delegates, satisfy what they are looking for, and bring the event, bring the experience that we have really worked hard to achieve so far. My expectations are really high, and in the same time, as I said, a bit nervous and unpredictable, because you never know what can go wrong, really.
Sure.
But in the end, as I said, I'm more comfortable, I'm more sure of what our team is capable, and I'm definitely sure that this year's event is gonna be epic. Everyone will be happy and will return with very good memories, with very productive experience, and they will look forward to return to iGaming Club next year, whether it's in Malaga or in some other location.
Perfect. How does it feel, or how did it feel to be on the other side of Beyond iGaming?
I think it was more stressful because asking questions is always easy.
I wouldn't
And
say
answering
that.
those, and answering those questions are not that easy, especially when we didn't discuss the questions prior to this recording, which is really true. And that's why if at some point you hear some idiotic or nonsense answer from me, try to excuse us, because we were not so well prepared, because we were preparing this event for you, and hopefully we did a better job when organizing the conference overall. So yes, see you in one day, and whenever this video is live already, you'll know the results of our event, definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.